I'd like to think that the trend is positive, but I have to think that just because the specific things that may have been you'd been ridiculed for when we were kids are now more accepted, there's just something else that replaces it. Like there's always something that some kid is getting, like, things are evergreen, like being ugly and awkward, that will never be cool, right? Being ugly is the worst thing in the entire world in like middle school and high school, right? And that's never going to change. There's no trend. There's not gonna, oh, you're a trendsetter, you're hideously ugly. No, it's not going to happen. And being awkward, like physically awkward, socially awkward, that is never going to be cool and popular, right? So there's always something that people are being slammed for. That's, I'm trying to be vigilant about that. It's like, oh, it's not a big deal. When I was a kid, I couldn't admit I liked computers, but nowadays it's cool. Well, that may be true. And maybe your kid is lucky and he happens to be into computers and, it's not a big deal, but there's always going to be something, right? Because kids are animals, So I'm vigilant to I don't want to like say, yeah, I hope it has gotten better, but I'm not that much better. You know what I mean? So I was going to make sure that I don't like, oh, you don't understand, kid. When I was a kid, you couldn't play D&D. Now you got it so easy. Maybe they don't have it easy. Maybe
no, you're right about it replacing it. But I'm just saying, like, a lot of the things that I think, I don't want to say we, but that I remember from my childhood, a lot of those things have gone away, and people, it seems like they're more accepting, like you're saying, they're more accepting of those kinds of things. And some of those things have kind of become cool, but it's always interesting for me to wonder why they've become cool, and other things that have replaced them. It seems like those things have gotten more intense and almost worse.
Well, I feel like the way it works is that the generation that was into those things became adults, and now like we control the world, right, Dan? You control it from your console there under the volcano.
Sure.
All right. And we get to decide that computers are cool because we changed the world with them. So you're welcome, right? But, as we grow to it, like just like the kids who are, maybe not Devo, but I guess kind of like when that generation grows up to adulthood, and if they are successful, they can influence the way the culture looks. So now, and plus computers just become common. So like, how can they be uncool? Like they're everywhere. Deal with it, right? So that's how I think that trend happened. But what happens is, and this is what we call progress. It sounds terrible, but this is called progress, is when the thing that was uncool becomes acceptable, you just pull from the bin that's down there, the big black velvet bag with like the green smoke coming out of it. And you just reach your hand in there and you pull the next thing up. When I was in high school, we had gay kids in our class, but nobody talked about them. It was like totally in the closet type of thing. Now it's like, all right, so fine, it's okay to be a geek or whatever. Let's reach into that bag. Oh, look what we found, homosexuality. All right, well, now that's going to come up and we're going to have to deal with that as a real thing. And so next, whatever, it's the same thing with, generations. Whatever you think you're comfortable with. Oh, I'm very comfortable and tolerant. Oh, yeah, I'm going to reach into the bag again. Oh, look, transgender people. How do you feel about that? And you're like, oh, wait a second. I'm not comfortable with that, right? There's always something in the bag for you to reach down to that's going to test your, tolerance, right? And that sounds terrible that each time we have to deal with this new type of thing, but that's progress. Like, it's good that now, that gay kids in high school have clubs and support groups and are out in the open, and, any kind of hatred towards them or whatever is stamped down. Like, that's progress, right? But they had to fight that fight, and it's still not easy for them, and once that's done, like 3 generations from now, when we have a gay president and it's no big deal, and we look back on anyone who thought of it as a big deal as barbaric, right? That will be progress too, but there'll always be something else down in that bag that we'll pull up. Who it's going to be, like people with like alien DNA by then. Who knows? But like there's stuff down there. Like I think transgender is a great example, because lots of people who are totally pro gay rights and everything are still uncomfortable with that. But like there's always a more marginalized group. And then, like I said, the things that are evergreen, physical attractiveness, anti-intellectualism is another big one. I felt that a lot in school, that like being smart was not cool. And that seems crazy to me, but I think it's still there.
That's definitely still there.
Right. And I mean, it depends on the school. It depends on the environment you're in and stuff like that. But yeah, there's always something down there.